All right, we are live on Thursday today. So I got some things exciting or just updates. So more and more, as I'm realizing that people, um, my community or the people that are coming to whether my Facebook group or to the YouTube, I think the number one question that a lot of people want to know is how to get more clients, customers, and converting those customers and clients, right? And so, um, one, I'm going to go over a very simplistic overview of basically how to get customers or clients. Okay, I think with social media, people just complicate things, but there's only really um, you know s- four ways, maybe five ways that you can get customers or clients. Okay, and I'm going to share my screen and I'm going to share this in my webinar yesterday, but I want to share this with you. So when it comes to getting, so before I even talk about that, let me just say one thing, okay? Um, whether you know it or not. So your income, let me see if I can, hold on a second. Let me see if I can see here. Uh, Let me see here, see if I can, I thought I had this on draw here. So let me go here, all right, and then get rid of that here. All right, so your income, why isn't this working? All right, so my mistake. So let me see if I can get this darn thing to work here, right? So your income, right? Let me see if I could see it here. Your income is directly correlated to your value to others, right? So ultimately, what it means is, um, I think everybody knows this, but do you really, really know this? Because ultimately, whether you have a real estate, whether you're a real estate agent or whether you have a small business or whether you have an agency or SaaS, your value, right, or your income is going to be directly correlated to your value that you provide to others, right? And what that means is that, how much you charge, whether clients are going to use you for whatever they need is going to be how useful your knowledge of what you do for others, right? Um, and that I think I knew this from the very beginning, right? When you start your business, but at the end of the day, like you really have to get that into your head, okay? So with that in mind, I'm gonna draw this box, right? And I'm gonna show you basically the the four things that you need to in order to get customers, right? And here is easy to I would say maybe difficult, right? Um, and then on this side here is where your income, right? As you make more money, right? Up here, right? Experience, right? Now this is my opinion based on my years of in being an entrepreneur and just basically working business. Your warm outreach is going to be by far the easiest. What I mean by warm are people that know you. So basically, be people that trust you, people that know you. So if you don't have good character or you don't know people, I highly doubt that you don't know people. I mean, I think if you pull out your cell phone, you go to your Facebook page, you are connected with people. And so um, warm outreach is going to be by far the easiest way to get your first clients, customers. Okay. Then a little more difficult, because cold outreach, right? There's many ways to do cold outreach. You could do cold calling, cold email, but understand it's all a numbers game when you do this, right? But it is the only way. The only way that other people are gonna know what you do is you have to tell other people what you do, right? If they don't know what you do, um, then nobody's gonna know. You're like a secret ninja, okay? In the box here in the middle is now this box can be anywhere, but I put it in the middle because I don't, is basically content, right? The problem that with content, and this is where I think a lot of people struggle with this, is that social media, right? Because everybody has a phone, right? And so we think that social media is going to capture people attention, right? So you spend enormous amount of time on social media, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever, right? But whether you're at the beginning of your journey or whether you're, 10 years into the journey, content can be utilized in different ways, but you cannot rely on it to generate business, especially when you're at the very beginning of your stage. That is kind of like, you know, you can start creating content, right? But you can use that as credibility when you're doing warm outreach, cold outreach. But you can't rely on it to basically get you customers. Okay, that's later on, right? And content is something that you stack on as you keep on um, pushing out more content, right? And how you do it, there are different ways to do it. I think a lot of people think that you push out content and it's going to go viral or you're going to reach. It's not. You have to constantly push out content. Now, on top here is where I think this is where you once you have the income and the experience, is where you come into here, SEO, right? Now, and paid ads, right? Now, this is where, um, not to say that you can push out content and build SEO at the same time. And so that's why I say this content in the middle doesn't necessarily have to be in the middle. It could be somewhere, along any part of this journey, but we put it smack in the middle because content can be utilized in many different ways. You can use content and then put money into it to drive paid ads, right? So I put it right in the middle because it can go in any of these quadrants. Okay. So with that said, one of the number one question is that I get, and because this is office hours, and I want to address any questions that are out there. I'm going to be focusing my YouTube channel and all of my, well, not all, but most of my content on giving you ways to generate leads. So, for example, this week I'll give you an example of what I did. Um, I I use Book Like a Boss. I'm moving everything over to Pro 360 calendar, and booking schedule. But in the meantime, I have been using Book Like a Boss, and so for the past 4 or 5 years, I've been using Book Like a Boss, and I've never created a system of following up with people and actually making note of the people that have booked on my calendar, and I never added them into my newsletter. And so literally what I did, it was very painstaking. So this is one of the things that you have to do is when I talk about that those quadrants, your warm leads or the people that have you already met, or that people that you've maybe people have come to your webinars, or people that have come to your that you've did one-on-one booking, to actually put them into your news email database, right? Because I believe wholeheartedly that email marketing is not dead. Okay, email marketing is the number one thing that you should have in your business. Okay, email marketing. having an email list. So I didn't have a system of putting those people into my email list. And so what I did was finally, after so many years, I was like, I went to my 40 pages of past one-on-one bookings, and I was surprised that n- I did not. So let me share my screen here. And so 70 of those 70 people here, I can show you right here. So add from Book Like a Boss to SendFox. So right now, still to this day, even though I am utilizing my platform Pro 360 as my platform, I still have not migrated. I just don't have the number. I just don't have the time and the bandwidth, and my team has not migrated the system over. So I'm still using SendFox as my email marketing platform. So as you can see right here, 71 people. I've created this workflow. So basically, what I did was I took people that and I physically inputted them into my Pro 360, and I created a tag. And when I create a tag, they go through this workflow. And as you can see, they are in this workflow and ultimately are going to be added to my newsletter, right? So what I did here is I invited these people, and I'm using Instantly, right? I'm giving you a lot of these platforms. And the reason why I'm using Instantly instead of Pro 360 is because the Instantly works differently as an email marketing platform. Instantly, what it does is instantly connects with my Gmail and utilizes my Gmail and sends it out as if I'm sending it out as my through my email platform. Pro 360 uses Mailgun, and it's kind of like a the IP or the what do you call it, the email providers know when you're sending out through a mass email provider. So like when I send out through SendFox, the IP address knows that it's coming out through a email provider and not directly from a email like Gmail, like Google Workspace. And so the reason I use that is because the probability of hitting the inbox of the people that I'm trying to reach is probably 99% it's going to hit the inbox, not the promotions, not the spam. Okay. Um, so whereas if I send it from Pro 360 or from SendFox, the high probability of them, the email going into um, their promotions tab, and there's high likelihood they're not going to see it immediately. Okay. And so when I sent out an email to these people, I just basically sent them an email saying, let's take a look here. Here's a sequence of emails. So basically I said, hey, hope you're doing well. I can't believe how time flies. We last spoke. So I put in a variable. So that way it kind of customizes the message that mimics, like, it's not a blanket email, it's not a template email. It's basically I took the time and I said, hey, we spoke in 2020, 2021. If you're watching this and you've actually got that email, this is what I was doing, right? um, have a few minutes to catch up this week or next. We'd love to check in and see how you are doing and share exciting things we're working on if you're open to that, right? So out of that, I was able to get 5 replies out of that. So that's 10% replies, right? And mind you, these are people, I sent out 51 because even though there's 71 in here. Now I didn't add everyone in here because some of these people I've met recently, and so I don't want to send them again. So it's kind of odd, right? So um, what I'm trying to say is that these are people that are opted in. So anybody that has unsubscribed from my newsletter, I took them out of the list because I don't want to send it to them because they're not my avatar because they've unsubscribed from my newsletter. That's a general statement. That may or may not be true, but I don't want to email them if they have unsubscribed from my newsletter. So this was done. Um, it took time, right? So the the hardest part about when it comes to marketing is like literally sitting down and like actually doing it, right? Because you want to create an automation that you can set and forget. And so this is a start of something that I intend to implement when somebody gets booked into my call, right, or do a one-on-one demo. Um, my goal is to follow up with them, 6 months, a year down the line, and that's to every business owner that is watching me now, right? You want to be able to create a system that if you know, let's just say, for example, even a real estate agent, and this is something that I think is very, very interesting. Okay, and I want to let me hide this. Let me take this. I have purchased. Um, we purchased our home, right? And I've purchased. I invest in real estate, and it's surprising that the people don't follow up with like it's you can't think of any transaction whether you're a customer or whether you're potential customer, it's amazing that there's no follow up, right? And even the agent that sold us our home, I don't think we don't get emails from them or no phone calls, right? And I think maybe we were bad clients. I don't know, but and even the agents that we've purchased and sold our investment properties, right? Actually, I do get one newsletter from this one real estate agent. I think over in another state. She does send us a newsletter that I know. Her name is Ginger, and I do get her newsletter. But it's surprising that people don't follow up, right? Whether it's a one-time transaction, you can potentially, if you, I both there are two agents that I know that did an excellent job, and I would recommend them. And but if I am not if they're not in my face every so often, I'm gonna forget about them, right? So even to this day, like I remember the lady that sends me the newsletter because I see the email, right? But the other guy, I honestly don't remember. He did a great job. He was able to sell my property, but to this day, I don't remember his name, right? Because it's, it's not, I don't get the emails from him or I didn't get the reminder anyway. So it's not in my face. So my point here is today, if you have any questions you're watching, please put your comments and so that I could take a look at any questions that you have. Let me just take a look. All right. Um, so I think as of recent, Facebook group has stopped they changed their API, so I cannot stream into Facebook group any longer. So I'm gonna have to figure out what to do differently streaming to that. I may have to stream directly using Facebook and not using a third-party software, but I will continue streaming through YouTube and talk about all of the questions that you know people ask that pertains to more sales, marketing, and how to generate leads. Right. While I my main focus has been for the past, probably since 2016, has been really local SEO. Uh, you know, how do I do things so that people are attracted and they call me rather than constantly chasing. But at the very beginning where you are, I think, not even beginning, I think throughout your business, there should be some aspect of active marketing. What I mean by active marketing is that you actually have to, rather than leads coming in, you have to actively do something, whether it's doing webinars or whether you're actually going and physically meeting people one on one or doing one on one bookings. You have to have that as part of your daily, weekly. Um, at the very beginning, 80% of your activity should be that. But then as you get more seasoned and experienced, then you can replace that with other. activities. Oh, so let me share with you another thing that let me go and share my screen. Actually, okay, here. So I talked about these quadrants, right? And then um, the other thing that I think is important, right, as you now get more season experience, all right, then there are these four quadrants. These four quadrants are referrals, right? And in the real estate, I hear so many agents when because I deal with a lot of real estate agents, and they say, oh, my main source is sphere of influence and people that know me, referrals, right? What happens if that dries up? So you cannot rely on that. That is, I think, if you're relying on one marketing, you're going to, I think, if something happens, you're basically putting the control of your business in other people's hands, right? And so you have to do other things besides that, right? There is affiliates. Real estate agents probably can't do that because they have certain, it's basically paying other people to be affiliates and so promote your business, right? Um, but if you have other businesses, like for example, SaaS or even in agencies, right? You can have other people be affiliates and have them promote your business. And so these boxes, what I'm talking about is basically OP, right? So we're talking about leverage, right? And this is the only way that you can actually scale your business, right? Other people. And then the fourth quadrant is employees, right? Employees basically can be doing up here, right? This stuff, whatever, you know. The referrals and affiliates can also be doing this as well, right? But you're basically, um, affiliates would you will pay them, and referrals, if the referrals become affiliates, it could be either or, okay? And then lastly is agencies, right? So basically, um, we're an agency, right? We basically help with SEO, right? And we basically also help with warm nurturing, right? We're nurturing through cold and warm emails by we help customers with email marketing, right? So basically, there are agencies out there that would help you to generate leads. Okay. All right. So with that said, as I said, we're going to focus on uh, things that is going to basically help you generate leads. And if there are any specific topics that you want to know about, I think probably in the next couple of weeks in my YouTube lives, I'm going to be focusing on, and I'm not focusing by theory, but I'm actually going to be teaching by actually doing. Because as I'm building my SaaS business, right, I'm going to be sharing with you that to get my customers for my SaaS business, right, as well as my marketing. And I also have a real estate business that's more basically through people reaching me through my basically through my email marketing that I'm doing. So I'm not doing any active marketing, right? So basically, all of those stuff I'm gonna be really putting uh, whether case studies and discussing some of those things in my lives, and kind of documenting the stuff that I'm doing along the journey, and sharing what's working and what's not working. And so in the case of what I showed you before, utilizing instantly, there are other platforms that does the same thing. There's I think Lemlist is another platform that does it. So basically, um, what you're doing is you're utilizing the Gmail SMTP to send it out so that it hits the inbox. Ultimately, you want it to hit the inbox, and you want it to mimic like as if I am physically typing the email to that person, and so it's more personable, right? Um, and so as a result of that, 10%. Now, the other aspect of that is I'm going into these conversations not with the intention to sell to them. I'm so that's another thing that I think a lot of people make the mistake of is that um, when they are going into it. It's a different story if you're like if somebody called and they're specifically interested in your services or product or whatever. But if you're going into it with um, you know, to connect with people, right? Whether it's cold or whether it's lukewarm leads, you're going in there with the intention to really help. How can I help this person, or what can I do to help this person? You know, if you're going in there to say, "Hey, I want," going in there to sell, that is the wrong philosophy, right? Or not, I wouldn't even say philosophy. I think um, overall, right? If you shared with them what you've done, what you're doing, and then can do they know others that would benefit from what I'm doing, right? And then and at the same time, you're going in there to say, how can I help this person achieve what they're trying to do in their next stage in their business or personal, right? If you're a real estate agent. Um, Another thing that I see a lot of mistakes is that when they're reaching out to the personal network, I think um, that whether you're reaching out to them through Facebook or Instagram DM, going directly to selling. All right, that's the wrong thing. So I think I got this from a framework from um, I think I don't remember where I got this from. I got this from I've been through a lot of coaching this past couple of weeks. So basically, ACAs: acknowledge, compliment, and then ask. So basically, you have to spend the time to look at. So let's just say you're doing a LinkedIn um, direct messaging approach. You're reaching out to your network, right? So right now I probably have over 600 people in my network. I don't know probably 80% of the people in my LinkedIn network. So if I were to create a campaign and start reaching out to these people, I will reach out to them and take the time and effort to look at their feed, take a look at their experience, take a look at what they do to make a message more personable, right? Because if you just send out a blanket, people know that that it's a very template message, and even they might even think, is this really this person? Is it automated, right? Because right now AI automation is a whole big thing, and so if you personalize it and put something in there that shows took 5 seconds, 10 seconds to look at what they do, it it comes, and it's the same way that when you feel when you get solicited or you get DM'd, right? It's like, I get this DMs all the time. Hey, I could help you with this. I could help you with this. Like those are delete, 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 right? But if you took the time to say something that is not generic, it's like, oh, I see you're doing great in YouTube, or I see you're doing great in this. Like, take the time to like really see my fade and say, hey, you know, put some meat into it, right? And so that comes a long way. And not only that, but also following up and not just doing it once, but follow up a couple of months down the line again, right? Um, it's I think a lot of times people think that take it personally. Like we're busy. Business owner is very busy with what they're doing, and so follow up is the key. All right. All right. On that note, it's you know I'm gonna limit my YouTube lives to 30 minutes. I do once a month webinars, which is about an hour, which it's a little bit more. I would say intimate, but you actually go on Zoom, and so that way I can see people's faces. Well, not necessarily if you don't have your camera on, then I can't see you, but it is a little more personable. But anyway, if you have any questions, put them in the chat. If not, then I will, see you next week. I'm not sure of the topic that I'm going to be talking about next week, but like I said, it's going to be geared toward more sales, more, lead generation, and that's uh, basically what I've decided is to really focus and help you, right? So, but in order for me to help you, like I need to know the kind of struggles that you're facing, right? Um, Sometimes, people have a generic struggle saying making sales, right? Um, it's better if I knew also like what you've tried and what's not working. What you know, all sales work. It's just a matter of what you have to know what you're good at, right? Um, and so uh, try to be a little bit more specific in your questions if you can. If not, you could always reach out to me, DM me, and I could be reached. Okay. I will see you next week. And let me just make sure there's no questions before I head off. And thanks for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you that's watching. And I look forward to seeing you next week, next Thursday at 11 o'clock. Just by the way, I'm on daylight savings, so there's a little bit mixed up. So I'm on 11 a.m. ETD, which is Eastern Daylight Time. Okay. See you next week, and I'll see you then. Bye.